Hello everyone. Welcome back to Uncensored _ the truth about money. Thank you so much for joining us yet again. We truly appreciate it. I'm your host, Kaya Jr. You already know what the podcast is about, so I'm not gonna I'm not gonna repeat that. We're a financial podcast providing you with financial education, and we just want to say that thank you so much for all the positive reviews that we've been getting and the positive feedback from you viewers. We truly appreciate it, and we're excited every day when we come here to just keep producing new content to help you guys out. So I'm your host, Kaya Junior Masango, and I'm with the untitled speaker.
For the first time you said it correctly. Untitled. It's all right like that. Let's keep it that way. Yeah, let's keep it that way.
Why commitment?
I know, let's keep it that way.
Because if we call you financial guru, you're gonna because when we call you a guru, you have to live up to that.
You see.
So every question that we have, you must be able to answer.
Yeah, no, I mustn't fall in any category.
Fair, how's it?
Yeah, no, all good, man. How are you?
Good. We've been meaning rather to talk about this. I don't know for how many weeks or how many months now, you know. And the first time this came out, now I don't remember if it was end of February or end of March, but as a country, we sort of like went into a panic mode. But obviously now things are better now that you know you have read about it and realized, nah, man, it's actually not so bad.
Yeah.
You know, but obviously then you will tell us if is it still something to worry about, or is it just it doesn't really matter. Do we have like much more bigger fish to fry, you know, instead of this? So today we're talking about Greylisting, you know, and this is something that I think it was end of March. It came out end of March that South Africa was greylisted, right? And I, for one, I was uncertain what does it actually mean, you know, and I sort of like panicked a little bit, you know, to say, ish, will we ever come out of this thing? How serious is it? How does it affect me as an individual and stuff like that? How does it affect businesses, you know? And yeah, so if you please, man, just shed a little light on what does greylisting mean? What is greylisting essentially?
So greylisting is not like blacklisting, first of all. We'll touch up on blacklisting as time goes in one of the episodes, so please be tuned. Stay tuned. So greylisting, so there's the Financial Action Task Force, ne? So it's like the international watchdog of
Unkomuza, this new police that came out, what do they call them?
I'm a parrot.
No, this new police, what jumpsuit green.
I'm a jumpsuit.
You've never seen them?
I've never seen them.
Yeah. Who's trying? I'll show you. Yeah, there's the new police. Jumpsuit.
I heard about something like that. Leva, they've teamed up with Panyaza
Yes.
Lisufi. Is that one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. They've got a name.
They've got a name. I'll search it for you. I'll tell you.
All right. Okay.
But anyways, how
yeah. So okay, they're not wearing jumpsuits, these task force people. So anyway, that's about to be interesting. So now you've got my mind running. I'm thinking police in jumpsuits. Hey, but anyway.
This is South Africa, man. Anything can happen.
Yeah. So anyway, what greylisting is, as I said earlier on, it's not blacklisting, right? So there's the Financial Action Task Force. So it's a watchdog, as I was saying, that it looks over countries or the affairs of financial how can I put it, financial transactions in the world, right? So essentially there's three components that it looks at. So it's money laundering, it's the financing of terrorism, and then proliferation financing. So which is like if you're financing biological weapons of mass destruction and nuclear bombs and so forth. So South Africa was I won't say red flagged, but the people under the FATF, I'll call it that as an abbreviation. So the people under the FATF identified South African's financial sector, you know, as not being up to standard. So so they put it under greylisting to say that, okay, guys, it's like, you know, if you've got that naughty employee, sorry, if you are that naughty employee and you're like, you know what, I'm giving you a warning. So, you know, that warning constitutes as them being micromanaged. So it's basically like that as well, where now South Africa is being micromanaged, you know, on those three categories that I spoke about. So it's not the end of the world, but it's just to say that South Africa, you need to beef up your money laundering, your combating of terrorism financing and proliferation financing as well. Yeah.
So, will this have any negative impact on small businesses or individual consumers?
So luckily it didn't. Well, it won't. Let's put it that way. So it's not like they are putting sanctions on South Africa. You know, they are closing doors. And they're saying, no, South Africa can't operate in the international sector. It's nothing like that. So it's simply meaning that, okay, guys, we need to beef up our services in terms of the financial side, or our security in the financial side, and we were given a certain deadline. So they said we basically need to comply with all of those things by January 2025. So it doesn't affect small businesses because although yes, we're hearing about bad news all the time, we listen to the news, we watch the news. The South African money policy, it's not, so they've catered for such things, you know, in their policies, you know, as a buffer to say that if there are stuff like this, it won't impact the economy. So even with the trade relations that we have with all these international companies, you know, us being grey-listed, it won't restrict us from having affairs with other people. Although, if let's say another country wants to do business with us or invest with us, you know, they look at us more closely now as opposed to before, you know, especially around, you know, the money laundering issues. So it won't impact us in terms of business or employees of business people, but it's something basically to look out for.
So when are we expected to come out of this? And do you think we have been given enough time for us to be able to come out of this?
Yeah, so we have been given enough time. What they were saying is that, so I think they identified like something like 67, I won't say cases, but profiles, right, that we need to fix.
Yeah.
When they did announce that the greylisting is coming, okay? So after that has been done, you know, South Africa was able to resolve some of the issues, and I think now we're down to 15. So as I said, that we're given another, year and a half to resolve all of them. But if we do it before then we are able to get out of it. Like there's countries who have been grey-listed, who've come out of being grey-listed, you know, in a matter of a year or 2 years. You know, so it's not a thing you would say, we won't be able to get out of it, or if you don't get out of it, this is going to happen. Because in the set time, so between now and January of 2025, we are given like intervals. So it's like, okay, check in, right, let's sign, Uguti, you know, what progress have you made within this duration. So there's intervals that we have to basically adhere to the regulations that they want. Yeah.
And then the task force. So is this so the representative there, is it people from different countries, or is it just one country that makes such decisions about other countries?
No, it's international. So it's basically all countries all coming, well, not all countries, but the certain countries that make part of that financial action task force, and they come through and then they make decisions. Like, for example, countries that are still grey-listed, it's like countries like Congo. There is some countries in Eastern Europe as well, you know. Countries that have came out of being grey-listed it's like Iceland, sorry. So it shows you, Uguti, these countries are like, you know, everywhere across, you know, the world. So the people that are making these decisions, or the people that are watching the activities of countries, you know, they all around the world. Yeah.
Is there anything lower than greylisting?
Lower
Lower.
Lower as in like bad or
bad, like under greylisting that we could potentially
Yeah,
fall into.
I think it's things like sanctions. Like once you get red flagged for sanctions, then I think then that's the worst.
Yeah.
Where you can't do certain things with certain countries. Interestingly enough, okay, Shab, Zimbabwe has sanctions imposed on it, right? So I get it, we fall part of BRICS.
Yeah.
But we also have relations with the USA, right? But now Putin is coming to South Africa in August for the BRICS summit. Ne? The ICC, the International Court, ne? It says that Putin has crimes against war crimes, basically. So we need to arrest him when he comes through. Now South Africa is in between. So they're saying that we're against the war in Ukraine, but we stand at a neutral point, but yet we still want to have ties with you guys as the US. So late last month, there was a Russian plane that landed at Waterkloof Air Base. So it was a Russian, aircraft, So America's like, how are you allowing these aircrafts? And these aircrafts can carry like rockets and all these things. How are you allowing it in here? Yet you want to have close ties with us. So now they're saying, South Africa, I think we as America, we need to start putting actions into the decisions that you make. Because one moment, the mayor in Cape Town is like, if Putin lands in Cape Town, we're going to arrest him. Julius Malema says if he lands here, we'll escort him to his place and escort him out. So it's like WhatsApp. So the user's like, no. We need to start acting. So now imagine if then they start putting sanctions on South Africa because of our ties with Russia. Now that will cause like detrimental impacts on the economy. So I can say after greylisting, then you get like your sanctions.
So now, what was in those planes and why did they land here in South Africa?
Russia says, well, there's a lot of, the thing is, no one took pictures. It wasn't something whereby, everyone knew about it. It is, so basically what Russia is saying is that, I get it, there's a Russian embassy in South Africa.
Yeah.
To show you the stories don't mix. South Africa says the plane came here to deliver a high-profiled mail to the Russian embassy. Russia's saying, no, we brought brandy and vodka and nice things for our ambassadors.
Yeah.
America's like, there could be anything in that plane. There could be rocket propellers. There could be nuclear, devices in there. We don't know. So no one actually knows what was in that plane. But we just know that it landed at Waterkloof. But it's not the only case. There's another plane that secretly landed in South Africa earlier this year from Russia. And that plane, the company that owns that plane was sanctioned by America. So it's been high profiled or red flagged, that company. But it landed secretly. So even the detectives were off to say, no, there's a plane in the sky, So when I say figure, so South Africa. So we don't know, man. We don't know. But we're still yet to find out what's going to happen in the future, because I get we're getting some funding from, there's this, it's called AGO, like an Africa Development, organization. So America's part of that. And we're supposed to have the meeting, the summit or the meeting or the conference for that. I think just 2 months after the BRICS summit. So America's like, no, South Africa can't have that AGO meeting, it has to go somewhere else. We can't have BRICS and the US all in one country, So
this meeting was supposed to happen after August?
Yeah, after August. I think somewhere like November, somewhere around there.
So now South Africa, so it's more like they're in between now. They don't want to take sides they don't want to side with either Russia or America. So it's a thing of they are enjoying both So they want to get best of both.
Yeah, basically. But the thing is, it's more deeper than that, because there's certain countries that are like, no, we helped you guys while you're still in exile.
Definitely.
These countries are like, no, we're for you, during apartheid. So, and remember, before the war, I mean, the war is still fresh. Ne? It's like 2-3 years old. Ne? Before the war, everything was fine. So we could do business with everyone. We could allow money from everyone. But now the situation is the war. And now it's the relationship that America has with Russia that's putting us in a difficult position. So that's the problem. It's the war in Ukraine that's creating all this riff-raff.
So now can't they arrest Putin anywhere else besides South Africa?
Aye. But the thing is, we fall part of the BRICS. That's the thing. So we're doing business with Russia.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
we also
yeah.
fall part of the international.
But now, why the such a demand that he must be arrested when he lands here in South Africa? Why couldn't he be arrested anywhere else?
That's what they're saying.
I mean, surely he's busy traveling just
everywhere.
before the summit. So why must he be arrested when he lands here in South Africa?
I guess the relations we have with the US. That is why.
Oh, so he so how I see it is that he's not stepping into any other country that has a relationship with the US.
No, I think he does. He is doing that. So we part of, let's say, relations. We form part of the relations with the US, ne? And we also fall part of the ICC. I think the International Criminal Committee, ne? So those are the guys that are saying Putin must be arrested, and we are part of that committee. So they're saying, if you guys are part of this committee, you must adhere to the rules and regulations of this committee.
They mustn't give us that burden. They must.
That's just poor, my song.
Why are they giving us that burden? Wait, we're in. What is it now? We're in May now. Right?
Yeah.
August.
Yeah, well, it's politics, bruh. It's politics.
So what's the difference between? Is there a difference between being greylisted and being in a junk status?
So being in a junk status, basically moves more in terms of investments.
Okay.
So it basically means that it's like a credit score for individuals.
Sure.
So junk status just means we are in a position whereby we can't. Not everyone sees South Africa as a favorable place to invest. So that's basically what junk status is. Where other countries are like, no, we can't invest in South Africa because of 1, 2, 3, and then being placed under junk status. Whereas with greylisting, it's like, South Africa, you can do business as usual, just please fix 1, 2, 3, 4.
My question goes back to, if we don't fix it, then what happens? Then what?
Yeah, then we'll
If we
continue
decide-
being greylisted. So there's, as I say, like the DRC, they've been greylisted for like 10 years. It just makes us seem as, people who don't want change and who don't want to beef up their securities. So the long-term implications of that is that countries will not see us as, like our policies being strict, and us not adhering to like international standards. So we could lose out in investments in the future if we don't decide to beef up on security now.
As a financial advisor, do you think we have what it takes to apply or to comply with what they're asking us to fix? And do you think, I think having what it takes, I think we might have what it takes. But judging or looking at how things are currently in South Africa, do you think that is part of the agenda? And are we gonna focus on it and get out of this? Or do you feel like it's just gonna be one of those, and then we move on to other things?
No, I think South Africa is doing something about it. They're not leaving it as it is. So hence I say that when the committee came with the announcement for the greylisting, they had identified 67 categories we need to fix. So now we're down to 15. So it means that they are taking steps towards it. Because the thing is, sometimes we get clouded by load shedding, corruption,
definitely. Yeah.
all of these things. But there's other stuff, like for example, although we are grey-listed, they did give a clear on the banking sector. So they said in terms of the banks in South Africa, those guys, they're up to standard, with how they're doing their stuff. So their policies, their implementations, so they're on the ball, So it's more of what's happening, nationally, Guptas and all these things. So that's why although we are being grey-listed, I think South Africa will get out of it.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I think that's all I have for you.
For today, on the greylisting.
On the greylisting.
Yeah. No, it's interesting because hence I say that we are clouded by so many other things, but there's still goodness in South Africa. Like, yes, you open the news, they'll tell you about 1, 2, 3, this is happening, this, But with regards to a lot of stuff, South Africa still, it's not that bad. It's not that, like as I was telling you earlier on, people still have money in South Africa, man.
Yeah. Like, obviously, people still do. Like, the problem is not the people. I feel like the problem is obviously judging from media, because that's the kind of information that we get. You know, I feel like the problem is the ruling party. I mean, considering where we are now with Eskom and like not just Eskom but service delivery as a whole. And those are the things that they make you, they cloud your judgment. In the sense that you don't see anything else that's good, but you're just focused on this. And to be quite honest, like, it seems like it's a lot of issues, So when you say there's a glimpse of hope, but I'm like, okay, like what? They're still good, like what? Because you look at service delivery as a whole. You look at public schools falling apart, healthcare falling apart. Load shedding. That's the big elephant in the room. So I guess that's where the doubt comes from, or the not having so much confidence or hope in the ruling party. That's where it stems from.
Yeah. I think obviously there's a lot of negativity towards what's happening, and it's validated because of basically what we see. Like, we're experiencing load shedding now in the next, let's say, 2 hours. But with that being said, like as I was saying, that people are still, like, business is still carrying on. Sharp people have lost money. I think Pick n Pay was saying that they've lost something like 90 million rands because of providing diesel to their generators. Yes, it is a tough time, but I still have hope that things will still get better. They say it's always darkest before dawn. So my thing is that, all of this filth and corruption and all of these things, like, it needs to be resurfaced so that we can deal with it. It's always been there. It's not that corruption started now, like, corruption has been there even in the apartheid eras, but all I'm saying is that it had to come out so that people are aware and people are well knowledgeable of what they're doing, so that when it's time to vote and put people in power, you're making a more informed and rational decision.
Are you going to vote?
Obvious.
For what?
ANC.
No.
I'm kidding. My vote is my secret.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for watching, guys. We truly appreciate. Mauti, when you said, what did you say, Guti? There's light after the dark. I watched this. This guy was saying, so this guy's trying to motivate him. Like, no, don't worry, there's light at the end of the tunnel.
Oh.
And it's like, idiot, why is the light at the end? Why do you need the light at the end of the tunnel?
That's
Thank you so much for watching, guys. We truly appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe. A lot of you guys that watch this, especially on social media, you guys don't unsubscribe to our YouTube channel. So
Unsubscribe.
they are not. They aren't subscribed.
Oh, yeah, because you said you guys are unsubscribing.
My bad. You guys are not subscribed to our YouTube channel. Please do subscribe. We would truly appreciate it. With that being said, thank you so much. We can't wait to come back next week with more content. Are we good?
Yeah, no.
Did I forget something? No.
No. Like, share, subscribe. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube.
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
Uncensored _ truth about money.
Yeah.
TikTok, it's uncensored _ financial edu. Please subscribe, guys, to our YouTube channel. With that being said, we out. Cheers.